Welcome to the session of panel discussion. This is a short session, and for this session we today have with us a session moderator, Mrs. Vedanti Shouche. She is a SAP solution architect for Tech Mahindra. I request ma'am to take her seat as a session moderator. Please ma'am, thank you so much. Ma'am has graduated from the Nagpur University and completed her BE in Information Technology in 2008. She started her career as a consultant in Capgemini, worked with Colgate-Palmolive as a technical analyst and IGTE as a technical lead. From the last 7 years, she is with TechM, started as a team lead and presently as a SAP solution architect. Thank you, ma'am. Thanks for your time today with us. As a panelist, we are having Mr. Dhiraj Motghare, sir. He's a Director of Engineering, Global Logic. I request, sir, to please take his seat as a panelist. Thank you, sir. We have panelist two, Mr. Abhay Chaudhari, sir. He's a Vice President of Product Engineering, Location Guru Solutions. I request, sir, to kindly take his seat as a panelist. So before starting this session, we want to welcome all the dignitaries. I request Ms. Gayatri Nagpure to welcome ma'am with the sapling. I request Sijit sir to welcome Dhiraj Motghare sir with the saplings. I request Ravi Kiran Dhule sir to welcome Mr. Abhay Chaudhari sir. Thank you, sir. So I hand over the session to Mrs. Vedanti Shouche ma'am, and she will introduce the panelists today. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Borakade sir. Good afternoon, everyone. It is my pleasure today to be part of the DNIG committee and hosting this Q&A session. Thank you for the opportunity, Shrijit. We have two highly experienced people today with us who will guide us to understand the rapidly changing market trends and help us to pave the path for our beloved orange city, Nagpur, to be among the leaders in the IT. Let me introduce you to all to our distinguished guest, Mr. Abhay Chaudhari. Mr. Abhay has over 25 years of experience in the IT industry. He completed his graduation in computer science from Sri Sant Gajanan Maharaj College of Engineering, Amravati University. He is famous in his peers and customers for his unwavering commitment and tireless efforts to accomplish a goal. He is known for his focus on customer needs, ability to drive towards a common goal, ability to drive everyone towards a common goal, doing always the right thing, honesty and positive attitude towards challenges are few of his qualities. Please give him a round of applause.
Thanks for all the kind words.
Our next guest, Mr. Dhiraj Motghare. He is having over 16 plus years experience in the IT industry. He did his computer science engineering from JDIET Yavatmal. He is known with his peers as the techie guy who has a deep understanding of the technical requirements. He's a great team leader where his team is extremely enthusiastic to work with him. Having an eye for details, at the same time understanding the end-to-end picture are his forte. Please give him a round of applause.
Thank you so much.
Thank you both of you to join us today for the discussion. Nagpur is known for its wonderful engineering colleges. its best-in-class medical facilities. We now have IIM, we now have AIIMS. Nagpur is the first city to have metros before the traffic jams become a thing in daily life. Other metros got traffic jams first and metros later, but I'm happy to say that we are ahead of them. So, my question is to Abhay sir. What unique challenges and opportunities does Nagpur offer to IT professionals and businesses? How can we leverage them to further accelerate its IT presence?
First of all, thanks Srijit for inviting me to the event and a wonderful atmosphere here. Thank you everybody. Getting back to the question. So I have been in Nagpur for most of my career. So I see Nagpur as more of opportunities than challenges, which is where I have been around here for longer than probably most of IT professionals who are here in Nagpur, except a few dignitaries around. Challenges have surfaced. Actually, we have overcome some of these challenges, but I would still like to mention them. First is an ecosystem maturity. So IT as an ecosystem, was nascent a few years back. It has come to a decent size and stage. It is maturing slowly, where I should say rapidly, more rapidly now, where a talent pool of a varied skill and experience has started becoming available. And though still we have a few areas which are probably on the bleeding edge of the technology or some unique skills that are still difficult to find or compose a team with. So let's say somebody says, compose me a cybersecurity team of 50, right? Probably that's going to be still a challenge compared to the big metros, but it is coming there. So, it is getting there very fast. So ecosystem maturity is challenge. The other challenge is, probably a lot about perception and awareness, where, a lot of probably people around still feel, including, people from the colleges and other IT professionals still feel that Nagpur is still not my destination, right? If I have to make a career in Nagpur, Nagpur is still not my destination. And this is again slowly changing, but it is still there that, if you want to make a career in IT, probably Nagpur has not been on the list of choices for people. But it is turning around. A lot of people have made great careers in Nagpur. Actually, people have started coming back to Nagpur. I have many examples around me, a few people I have met. So that factor is again slowly changing as the first factor, the ecosystem maturity, is coming along. Now on the opportunities side, Nagpur is full of talent. I have always believed this all along, that Nagpur is a place where you can find and nurture talent and bring that talent to work with you on shared value, shared benefit model. Once you can tap into this ecosystem of talent in Nagpur, there is hardly better places probably that have this model working differently or better than Nagpur. The other opportunities in Nagpur are it's the size of the city itself. So it's a better city to plan your life. First of all, if you are somebody who's choosing to be in a place where you want to plan your different stages of life, then Nagpur is one of the better places to be. And thirdly, you will find it's a close-knit community. That's another advantage I find about Nagpur. Almost, people around, companies around, colleges around, community around. So that's a unique advantage I find for myself, at least in Nagpur. Thank you.
Thank you. Srijit, would you like to add some? Sorry. I'm sorry. Dhiraj, would you like to add something to this?
No, yes. I think one very important aspect, I mean, what Abhay sir told is about, he, he has grown in the land, so he's there, he has saw all of the growth here, right? I have a different perspective. I have come from, Mumbai, I was there in UK, I was there in Pune, and then I came to Nagpur. So my journey is an outside to inside view. So, one major challenge that I definitely see is, when you yourself decide to come to Nagpur, majoritarily what happens is your peers are the one who would, stop you. Right? They would come and tell you myths about Nagpur. They'll say, "Arey, growth hinder ho jayega, opportunities nahi hai, right? You will not get to work on premium or good projects, right?" And that is all false. All false, believe me. She introduced me as a techie. For every techie, development, innovation is the key aspect of it. And what I feel is I have done innovation and I worked on very prestigious projects better than what I could get in Pune or Mumbai or UK. Right? I have seen so many clients and I have seen so many projects now. There are people who are from Nagpur. I mean, there is no reason why we should think about it. But अंगूर मिले नहीं तो खट्टे होते हैं. Everybody understands that. Those who couldn't make it to Nagpur, they will try you from stopping you. If you are actually you are taking a decision, right? That I want to go back to Vidarbha, I want to go back to Nagpur and start afresh, right? So that is one mentality. I think that is the biggest challenge. Everything comes after that, because if your people themselves, come and try to object on your decision, then there would be a problem. See, on the contrary, if you decide that you want to go to Pune, you will see that most of the people will say, "Ha, yahan ja, I will help this, this class, that class." That will never happen. You will get reverse programmed, right? So I think first of all, we need to change the perception. I think most of the people might also think that, okay, I will get a first opportunity to come back to Nagpur, and then, I will get stuck because there are very few companies compared to the major IT cities, right? Even that is wrong, right? I could get, 2 switches in Nagpur, and I am still surviving, and I'm hacking growth and tweaking my skills. There is no, point to think like that. So first of all, this myth has to go away. Right? You have got all growth opportunities. You can make yourself. See, I mean, I could never be sitting in Pune with such a good forum, right? Because I would get lost in the crowd. There are many people like that. So if you are doing good for your own land, for your own country, for your own, why not your own city as well then? So we have to promote. It's a very important. Why I am connected to Destination IT Nagpur group is because you have to take certain things in your own hand, right? So you have to, what you can do, right? You have to promote Nagpur, right? There are myths you have to stop talking about.
Yeah,
right?
like Samir sir said, Nagpur for Nagpur.
Yeah, Nagpur for Nagpur. Right?
Yeah,
you have to take things at your hand, and you have to start promoting, right? If you have done something great, you have to speak about it, right? And if you have challenges, you have to speak about that as well. You will get help definitely, I feel, right? So if Nagpur can be one of the greatest city for, medical, everybody would say that, Nagpur has very good medical services, right? We have tremendously good doctors here. Why can't we say that for software industry? Why can't we say that for Gen AI? Now the entire world is new in Gen AI and no code, low code, right? Why can't Nagpur be the pioneer? So we have to think differently, and I think Nagpuri people are known for thinking differently. So why not? I think that is the challenge, and that is the solution as well. Nagpur for Nagpur.
Yeah. So on the same lines, I would like to extend one more question. So when a seasoned IT professional wants to come back to Nagpur, there are people who face the challenges of having a good package. So companies tend to say, we are getting you to your hometown, we will pay you less. So is that right to, get valued less for the same talent, whereas if you stay in a different city or a non-hometown city, so it's not just for Nagpur, other growing cities. So So do you think how we can perceive the companies to value the talent? Because the talent is going to remain the same. It's not going to change because it is coming to its hometown, right? So what are your thoughts on that, sir?
Very interesting and very key question for all the people who are trying to get their careers in Nagpur. I believe this question is more of a way for companies who are looking to understand how they can attract talent at a cost structure that they have, all right? And they look at it from that perspective. They are working with a already existing talent inside, and they are looking to attract talent at a cost structure that has been established. Whereas a cost structure of the cities outside is a little different, and that poses the companies themselves a little challenge in terms of managing the cost structure and the disruption to the cost structure. So rather than this is a tactic to hire a talent at a discounted rate, it's more of an effort to protect the cost structure. That is how I see it. That's where it is. Having said that, though, from a candidate's or the potential job person's perspective, I believe they have every right to demand a package that they feel they deserve. I believe the market drives where things will go. A negotiation is bound to happen. And, both sides will use their aces or their opportunities or their points in negotiation. This is one point that the company uses. You have your own points for negotiation. So let the negotiation happen is my message.
So, again, thanks for that question. It's, I will share, an important aspect of what actually happens. As Abhay sir said, it's about negotiation, right? So if you are stronger at your negotiation skills, obviously you can get, you can negotiate for moon and you can get the stars, right? So, very interestingly, some of the points that while you are negotiating, you have to understand is, if you are starting from your, you have good experience and you were elsewhere, right? And you want to come back to, let's say, Nagpur. So as, Vedanti said, the talent remains the same, right? And why then there is negotiation based upon, the city? So basically, see, you have to understand that a company wants you to relocate from a place to another place, right? And importantly, the talent remains the constant, right? And now we are saying that because Nagpur is growing city, right? So if basically then in that is the situation where you want someone to come from an developed mindset to come from to a development mindset. Actually, it is a more from that perspective that the employee has, or the or the expert has to give more, because now he has to develop more, right? So if that is the perspective, you should ask more, right? If the company is negotiating, you can also negotiate, right? And ultimately, if you are not happy with your salary, you will not be feeling happy at the end of the day, right? When the work is done. So ultimately, negotiations are the key, and you should know these points. So if you are coming from developed mindset to developing mindset, you should ask more, right? Are you, will you be, compromising on your talents, your skill? No, right? So it's all about negotiation. I think there is, again, one of the myth, as I said, it never happened with me.
Good to know that, Dhiraj. So, guys, we have a very important key takeaway from this, that you have to negotiate better, and you should have points why you should be paid the same. So, just add something. Yes, please.
Having said, both of us said the thing that we said, however, do understand that even in the developed world, the salary structure in different cities are different. For example, the Bay Area or San Francisco, which is considered as the innovation and Silicon Valley of the United States, the salary you would get there versus salary that you would get in San Diego or you will get in Dallas, Texas, is going to be different. Even you have the same talent, even if you are going for the same kind of position, even within the same company sometimes. Salaries are tied to locations, That and though that, having said that, there is room for negotiation.
Thank you. So we got both the perspectives, perspective of an aspiring employee who wants to shift his career to Nagpur, and from a company's perspective who wants to, adhere to the cost. Thank you. My next question is for Dhiraj first. So Dhiraj, when bidding happens for a project, and you know that you are going to need so and so talent for the project. The company is headquartered in Nagpur. And you also have your internal data which tells you what skills you have, and you see that there's a gap. So to promote Nagpur, what are the strategies companies should acquire? Should they, get a talent, reskill or upskill their internal resources? Or should they get resources from other locations to, come and work in Nagpur? Like, how should companies perceive that?
I got you. So this has always been a challenging part because I was working to pre-sales. I was probably one of the people who we were getting more business. And I was working with two of these companies, Tech Mahindra and Birlasoft. So you would ask me about Birlasoft. So, one of the interesting stories, even companies, mid-scale companies like Birlasoft, Tech Mahindra is obviously an IT giant, but I could work with both of them with their location councils, and what I understand is, yes, this is a challenge that we don't get people. And I was fortunate enough to work on these programs to get more people from outside locations to Nagpur. I have, what I think is, if companies like Global Logic, companies like TCS, right, like Infosys as well, they are growing like anything. They are building their campuses, huge campuses, beautiful campuses, right, beautiful offices. So I think, it has to, this particular part, Nagpur has to be inculcated as one of the IT locations, and that has to come from the company strategy itself, So if you have to run certain programs, you have to, educate people that yes, Nagpur is also a location, and you have to make it easy. Like we did some programs, but we couldn't get that many people. We failed. Whereas, then we got to understand that there are people from Nagpur who are settled in Pune, but they don't want to come back. Right? So even there are cases, there are challenges, right? So you have to make it open, you have to run that program within the corporates, you have to approach people, and it is not only people, because there are sometimes ODC requirements. For example, you are part of a project where, you want to come back and work from Nagpur, but that is not allowed because there are some security requirements, right? So again, you have to go. So it is a very strategic initiative that you have to take, and I think if I talk about corporates, they have to really think about it. So if you want Nagpur as a location to grow, right? One of the best thing about Nagpur is, the companies face very less attrition here because people are satisfied at the end of the day, right? And they are getting an environment where they get to see a location growing from probably 300 to 3,000. How many of us would see that, right? A small startup growing from very small thing to a big thing. We never used to see that. When I was with, Tech Mahindra, I could meet with almost all of the people. Right? Yeah. We could meet with Manish Vyas, personally knowing each other, right? We could meet with Satish Pai sir. In fact, you met CP Gurnari sir as well, right? He is the CEO MD, right? So we would never get that. So I think what we need to do is corporates, first of all, has to bring that as a strategy that yes, they really need to bring people back to Nagpur and grow this location. That has to be there in their DNA because I've seen.
So you mean to say we should have a person from Nagpur at a strategic position who can promote
if that
growth.
Is the case, yes, I would give you a mantra. I was noting down points from Samir Bendre sir and then Father Paul, right? I was discussing with delegates here. What I understand, Nagpur has mantra in itself. I'll tell you. N means networking, right? A means attract. You have to attract people, as I was telling, right? G is, you have to make your people grow. Your people has to grow, so you have to think about them, right? P is persuade, right? You have to pursue. Why not Nagpur? So if you are in a leadership position, you are in a project, right? Why can't you go and talk about to your leadership that, I think that Nagpur is a best position for this project, right? Why can't you do that, right? U is unitize, like what we are doing with this group, right? Unitize. Yeah. And R is remain relevant, right? Remain relevant. So unless we are relevant itself, who would listen to us? Yeah. I think that is the mantra. Nagpur has a mantra in itself, right? So if you do this, I think the talent thing can be taken over. Rome was not built in a day. Nagpur was also not built in a day. I would say it will take some time, sweet time, and it will come back, I think. Yeah. And it is on the track, I think, to come back.
Thank you for that mantra, Shriji. Abhay sir, would you like to add? I'm so sorry. Thank you, Dhiraj. Abhay sir, would you like to add?
Dhiraj has nicely covered it. Just a couple of things I would like to add. I think I said a little bit about ecosystem maturity, right? So this is a little bit of function of ecosystem maturity. People feeling comfortable that IT ecosystem in Nagpur is mature enough for me to be able to grow. So it has come to a certain level. Before, I used to be in the early days where, when we were hiring for lament and when we used to do the calling and, my HR would come back and tell me, nobody wants to hear the word Nagpur. From there, we have established big names here in Nagpur with thousands of peoples of team and great, beautiful campuses. All that has come a long way. So it is changing, and the pace of change has gone up. Two things. One is companies themselves now feel the need of being present in locations such as Nagpur, Nagpur being in probably the top few of those lists. They feel the need because there is only a certain level you can grow to for a size in top tier cities. That is one. The cost structures also are prohibitive in terms of margins and business sense. That is one. So companies are making a very conscious effort to grow into these cities such as Nagpur. The second thing is, like Dhiraj was looking to cover, is, we people from Nagpur have to take stronger initiatives. One of the things I feel that we can do in a city, our city, is establish at least a couple of centers of excellence into certain domains. And please note, I use the word domain, not technology. All the, of us are from the technology side, but I would very strongly like to highlight importance of domain, because that I believe is going to be the next gen of how talent and business are going to be conducted in the world of IT. The domain are going to drive more than the technology. Technology has reached to a stage where, a lot has already been achieved, and the domain is going to be the thing. So combination of domain and technology, I should say that, for example, can we become the hub for automotive technologies? Can we become the technology hub or the talent hub for, let's say, insurance tech or image processing or whatever? So we have to become, the conscious effort has to be done by the top management in the companies as well as senior people within the organization to establish Nagpur as a hub for at least a few domains, two ideally in my mind, but if more the better. That would propel the things forward in a big way. My own 2 cents. Thank you.
Thank you, Abhay sir. I think healthcare is a domain where Nagpur should lead, right? Open to audiences. Any questions from audience before I proceed with my next question? Yes, please. Just a minute. They have.
Okay. Good afternoon, both of you. My name is Gaurav. Actually, I'm working in IT industry for 17 years, but I have a question that, because I'm talking with a lot of students, I have a question that a student wants from a student's perspective. Now, let's say that I am a student just graduating, could be B, could be BC or anything. Now, what as a student I would be hearing from industry or from a lot of HRs is that we don't have requirement for freshers. So now, as a student, I would think if I don't start, how would I get an experience? You need experienced people, but I have to start somewhere. Somebody needs to hire me. So now, I want to understand like what, as a student, I should be doing so that a company looks towards me, even if I am a fresher. Company is willing to give me some opportunity to grow and get experience.
So very nice questions. I think I will mention 2 points here, and Abhay will definitely add. I think getting certified is very important. So, for example, most of us would end up working on either AWS or Azure or GCP, right? Why not to get certified, right? That is one thing. And there are numerous certifications. So we have people from Agile. So why not to get certified on Agile? Because you are going to work in that, right? So getting certified, obviously, because I understand that you won't have experience, but do you have caliber? That certification would show, right? So this is definitely one. Secondly, I understand that every company would come back and say that, we need experienced people. I agree. That is the need. Because nobody wants to onboard people and then, have the learning curve and then the delivery will start. No, we from the corporate side also, we work in a very tight deadline. So we cannot have leverage of, people onboarding, learning on their own pace. That never happens. So I think what you can do is, you can start looking at the freelancing part of the World Wide Web. You can see, if there is some work that he or she can pick it up. Right? This is the right way of doing things. So what would happen is you can contribute, you can crowdsource. I don't know how many of you understand about crowdsourcing, but all of these bigger products would allow you to make your suggestions. So, I know some of the people who would only go look at the code and start commenting the code as well. That is also a contribution, right? And that is your legitimate experience. Why not? So by crowdsourcing, by going for, freelancing, right? Or you have, let's say, Kirana Wala, or you have, some small enterprise, your uncle's enterprise, your mama's enterprise, somebody, right? Why can't you help them go digital, right? It is very simple, right? So you help. That is how you are going to get experience. Experience. I mean, I never heard somebody who come and say that, you need to be experienced with some MNC or INC. No. You need experience, right? Why can't you build a simple application? Why can't you build your own ideas and build it, right? So that is the point. I think we can definitely do this. And if somebody comes to me and say, sir, I have built this very beautiful app. Can you just have a look at it? I would definitely like to hire him or her. Why not?
Yeah,
right?
I mean,
definitely.
Employing or, innovating on oneself.
Yeah,
And
going digital is very simple. You have
so many open platforms to
exactly
learn from. Yeah.
Exactly. See, AWS would give you servers for a year free of cost. Why can't you put this, So help people to grow their business. They will come back and, promote you. And this is how you have to gain experience, I think. Yeah. Thank you.
Just a couple of things I would add. He has covered nicely on the technical side. I would ask all the people seeking employment that understand the concept of value to offer, right? Your degree or your graduation is a value to you that you have completed and learned something. Now you also have to demonstrate what is the value you can offer to the employer that is employing you. Your graduation is respected and that's one part of your value, obviously. But the times have changed and the value has to be more than just the certificate of your degree. Some of the things he has covered on the getting the certification and skills. I would just add one thing to that is certification is one part, skill is second. So don't mistake certification for skill. Certification is endorsement of the skill, but not the skill itself. So a lot of people mistake that if I just get a certificate, I should get a job. But do you have the underlying skill? That is the important question. In my time when I was doing the hiring for freshers, my simple 3 questions to the freshers, including the skill part of it, tell me something that you have learned deeply. All right. This gives me an ability to understand how well can you learn something when I hire you, because I know you are still starting, and as a part of your journey, you will need to learn a lot. My simple assessment of any individual will be how good are you at learning? And it can be any one of your academic subjects. It can be anything other than your academic subject, right, that you have learned. How well do you learn is how I want to see it. It can be your algebra from standard 10, but then where are you on that, right? It can be, for example, the buzzwords of our industry, data structures and algorithms, right, or database management system and cyber security, so many buzzwords. But have you just scratched a surface? Have you gone deeper, and how much deeper have you gone in? While I understand that as a part of your curriculum and education, you have a lot of things to do, and probably you will not be as in-depth as a 10-year experienced person. But don't stop at scratching the surface. Go a little bit more, and that increases your value. I'll bring it back to the first point, right? So increase the value. The ways to increase the value is to learn a skill a little bit in depth, any 1 or 2 skills, and then complement that with the experience part that he was talking about. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. When you said about going deeply into and how to recognize freshers who can learn, I just remembered my days when I was giving an interview. So I was in the final year, and the panelists asked me, like, what are your hobbies? I said, like usual, reading, gardening, cooking, and blah, blah stuff. That's, I think, for everyone, most of us like that. And then he said, okay, you are saying cooking. What do you know? What can you cook now? So I said, I know, I mentioned few of the dishes. And he said, can you give me the recipe of one? I'm not sure whether he himself knew the recipe, but I think maybe he was just seeing whether, I can at least list down the ingredients and I know. So it's about not just saying things, not just saying that I have this certification, but you should definitely have those skills, and you should be confident enough to, express that. It need not always have to be a technical thing which you mentioned, but a simple thing, and, just have that confidence in you. Yeah.
Just one more thing I would like to add. And soft skills, please. A lot of us tend to still discount that in the age where, they probably would grow probably more important than technical skills actually as you grow in your career. So pay attention to soft skills, simple communication, being able to summarize something, being able to present something, being able to answer a question in a meaningful way is very important.
Thank you. Any more questions? Yes. Yeah.
Second thing, I asked them to describe something that has impressed them. And third thing I ask them is, what do they want to do more? What is their liking basically? In what area of technology, or what is something that they would like to grow into as an engineer or a career that they want to? These are 3 basic things I ask. very nice question, first of all, and a very pertinent question. One of the things I can tell you is it is easy and difficult. The easy being, try getting into a mechanical engineering from a computer science background and see how it goes. Right? You can at least talk about this, coming from a mechanical or electrical engineering and getting into IT as a career. So that is why it is when I say it's easy. Now, let's talk the difficult side of it. The classic difficulties of, getting from another branch of an engineering into IT as a career is, first of all, you have to, the computer science or IT engineers, they get a certain consideration because they have studied computer science as an academic area with more subjects. Hopefully, they have paid their attention in their classes and learned a few things. However, in the world that we live in today, all of those things, I would not even say most, all of those things can be learned by individual because they are available on internet. Right? Your programming skills, developing your programming skill is a function of time. That is a very simple message I tell you. You will be very poor at it in the beginning. You will struggle to understand basic compiler error messages. And from there, you will grow into learning how to do it and become an expert at it. If you drop it in the first few weeks, you will drop it forever. Right? So right from the basic programming skills like this to the computer science fundamentals that your other peers are at advantage of, you can invest time and learn those things. A lot of colleges and universities these days offer these subjects as electives also. So you can take that step as well to pick up those electives and make yourself more interesting for a potential employer. The other things you can do is develop your, you have to create this GitHub profile or a GitLab profile where you create these small projects like he was saying about. So building IT and as an industry trusts more skills than any other industry. You need not have a very certification or a engineering or a degree background per se. A lot of people in the IT industry have left their colleges and, became great at what they do. So it is much easier for actually the engineers because they at least get a bachelor's degree. But there is a definite path that one can traverse. There are enough examples available. There are enough YouTube videos how people have done it. It's more a function of will than anything else.
Very, very correct. Very nicely and aptly put answer from Abhay sir. So, I just wanted to add two more things to it. First of all, stop thinking that he is an IT person, I am not. Because IT is omnipresent everywhere, right? I have two options for you. If you are coming from a non-IT background, think about some tools like no-code, low-code, right? Now, there is, it's a software to use, which generates more softwares, right? So if you, let's say you have accounts payable kind of process, which is, constant across everywhere. If that is what you are thinking about, if you understand the process, you can create a software with no code, low code, right? So it's not about, obviously skills are there, but you can reskill yourself, you can upskill yourself, right? And these tools are very easy, very intuitive for all of you to use, right? You can try it out, they're freely available, right? So you can think about getting certified, getting skilled in and certified in these tools, and there is, nobody would come and ask you that, are you engineer per se in computer science for the skills? No. Another area that is open very recently is prompt engineering, right? And now prompt engineering is specifically English that you communicate with the GenAI large language models, right? So you train a model and then you convert that to a code. Now, do you need to program? No. So I think there is no need to feel that that you are a non-IT and somebody is an IT, he has an upper hand. Specifically, yes, with the basics it might be, but with a world which gets disturbed every 2 years, I think there is no such things like you are this and I am that. If you have innovation, you have everything.
Thank you, Dhiraj. Thank you, Abhay sir, on that. Before we move on, I would like to ask you about the work-life balance, especially in terms like a few weeks back, Mr. Murthy mentioned about freshers having a 70 hours a week. So, what are your thoughts on that, and do you really think it's sustainable?
This is going to be controversial. I think my own take, and this is a take of somebody very small, of a statement made by a stalwart. All right, so do take that with a pinch of salt. My own take is that Mr. Murthy, when he said this, he was motivating people for hard working. That's how I would take it, right? Don't go by the count of hours, whether it is 70 or 65 or 75, he's motivating you for hard work. More than that, I feel that I would just add something very, very simple to it. If you have a goal in front of you and, it's a worthy and important goal in your life, right? For example, somebody was saying that I want to get a job in IT. Now you really don't want to wait. You want to catch that goal as soon as you can, and the hours don't matter. So for me, the count of hours don't matter. It's your goal that matters. How fast can you go and meet that goal is what matters. And you are actually not counting hours when you are motivated to attain that goal. Whether they go to 50 or 60 or 70, doesn't matter. So have a goal and, keep marching towards it is my message in the scheme of things.
Thank you.
Thank you. So I feel, yes, let us take it as a motivational thing. If you are motivated for a goal, if you are really motivated to achieve that goal, you will stop counting. I am also, I think alike. Again, work-life balance is important. I think that is the aspect that you touched. See, when you try to achieve as a person, if you have a goal, that goal is for your family. It is not for you, right? So obviously that I always keep saying this, that any unnatural growth is cancer, right? I mean, आपका सिर्फ हाथ ही बढ़ रहा है और पैर नहीं बढ़ रहा, so you have a cancer, right? Obviously, right? आपका brain ही बढ़ रहा है, आपका कान ही बढ़ रहा है, so it's a unnatural or unorganic growth, right? ऐसा growth नहीं aim करते. We do not achieve growth like that, right? The growth has to be 360 degree and it has to be within. It has to come from within, right? So if you are growing, so when I say you are successfully growing, it is only possible when you are socially growing, you are economically growing, you are growing in your career, and you are growing in your family. If you are doing that, if you are able to achieve that, I think not 70 hours, I would put 100 hours goal as well. If you are able to get a 360 degree success that I defined just now, if you are able to do that, that also has a work-life balance as one of the parameter, we should definitely aim for it. That is how I take it personally as a motivational part of it. But I don't only quote success as work. It is overall part. Sirf work mein, there are many people who are very successful, but they lack socially. They are not, family-wise they are struggling. We have a recent example, Raymonds and all that, you see there are lots of problems in the families and all that. So if you have to grow organically and from within, 360 degree. That is what I feel.
Thank you so much, Dhiraj, for that. So with this, we would conclude our session today.
Somebody on that side had a question. I'm sorry.
Yes, we are short on time, so please be quick. Yeah.
I want to touch on a topic which has already been discussed by the keynote speaker and the chief guest. Yeah. I've been hearing about Mihan from a long time. I have been hearing about Mihan and the IT hub coming up from a long time. I also hear that there is a political will. Some of the influential leaders are from Nagpur and they have the will to grow it. Now, what is the gap? Why the growth is slow? And what is a suggestion from the IT organizations to fill up this gap? Because these leaders might not think of it. And so my question is, what is the gap? And what are the suggestions from the IT organizations to them? Because in the same time period, there are other cities which have grown like anything, and maybe without such influential leaders.
I would like to take that. First of all, I would give a disclaimer. I'm not much aware of what has happened in the political spectrum. However, I feel that lately, I mean. However, I feel that enough has been established by governments as a method and as a ecosystem for the boost of industry, not just IT. Particularly, I would like to address that. Mihan is not just for IT, it is for promotion of industry within the Nagpur, and a lot of that motivation has been laid down by various influencers within the government, and including the influential political leaders. Again, I said with a disclaimer that I'm not aware of exact policies per se. Having said that, it's a function of ecosystem maturity. I will talk from the industry, IT industry, because I'm from it. I'm not aware of the other industries. But it's a function of ecosystem maturity that is getting there slowly. It is, when, for example, Persistent established here, it was probably one of name or 2-3 names that were around. When Lambent and Global Logic appeared on the scene, again the same thing. But from there it has grown, and in the last few years it has grown very, very fast. So I believe that it has attained a critical mass now, that from this point onward the growth will be faster. We have had a tougher year last year, the 2023, and probably some part of 2022 that went in for the overall IT industry. Sudden spike of growth in the COVID time, and then a downside of it where things slowed down. But as things come to their steady self, steady growth, as I would see it, it is just going to grow more from here. The cost structures are lucrative, the talent pool is there, the ecosystem is maturing, people want to get back to their cities. All these factors are going to come in nicely together for a city like Nagpur. And I believe in Nagpur all along, so I would say it is just going to grow from here.
Thank you. I think we need a catalyst, that is people from Nagpur as a strategic decision makers in the big organizations to promote Nagpur. That is one thing for sure. So with this, I would like to conclude our session. Let me list down some key takeaways. So as we understood the city structure and all, we are more than ready for the incoming IT growth. The city is ready for it. Nagpur has more opportunities than challenges. We have to promote Nagpur. Nagpur for Nagpur should be our mantra. Ecosystem maturity. Understanding the cost structure of the company. So we need negotiation skills for sure, but we also have to think from a perspective why somebody will open a center in Nagpur. So that also we need to consider. We also have to make sure that we encourage companies or the companies, startups which we have, to build in the capabilities as a center of excellence for specific domains. That has to be a conscious decision. For upskilling and for getting jobs, especially for freshers, Abhay sir has given some basic questions which people can practice and groom themselves. We also need to ensure that you get certification along with the skills, and the skills can be enhanced with your local, like Dhiraj mentioned. You can just, tap into your next grocery store and try to understand his difficulties and, try to find a solution for him or her. So that can be your self-motivating, practicing applications you can develop. You have a lot of open source platforms available for you to do that. You also have to think that is a value you have to offer to the company so that they can hire you. And definitely, hard work always pays. Self-motivation is the key to achieve success. Thank you.